Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Skylar, and in this video I want to give you 10 tips to improve your arena results in Cookie Run Kingdom. So for reference, if you want to know where I stand as far as the arena goes in Cookie Run Kingdom, currently I am in Diamond 1 for this season. It just started relatively soon. During the previous season, I was able to get to Master 3 using a team that has an attack power of around 270. I do not whale. I do spend enough to be considered a dolphin. My team is sitting around like level 50. So with all that in mind, I have been able to get to Master 3 on the Hollyberry server. So I think I have a fairly good idea of what's going on with the PvP from the perspective of someone who isn't able to whale and test out every single strategy ever. So with all that in mind, the experience that I have, I wanted to pass along 10 tips to you to help improve your results. So a few of these are going to be ones that I'm going to need to make a video on to explain them fully in depth, but I want to pass along the core of each of these to you so that you have them, okay? And I'll make those other videos later to kind of elaborate and explain. So let's start out with tip number 1. So this is the only tip that I have in this video that involves money, okay? So if you are serious about progressing in the arena and getting your rank up as high as possible, I recommend that you consider investing in the Kingdom Pass. Okay, the Kingdom Pass comes out every month. It has a track on it where you can complete daily missions and seasonal missions to get rewards. There's a free track that everybody gets access to, and then there's a paid track that you can access if you pay $5 for the Kingdom Pass. However, we don't really care about any of this for arena. What we care about is this little tip here. Your opponent refresh time in the arena and in Super Mayhem goes from 30 minutes to 10 minutes. So arena is all about trying to find good matchups to progress your trophy level in order to get to the next rank. So being able to refresh your opponent list more often makes it easier for you to find matches faster to improve your rank. So if you have the $5 and you're serious about arena, invest it in the Kingdom Pass. It's totally worth it. That being said, you do not need to invest in the Kingdom Pass in order to continue to progress in the arena. So don't consider this a must-have. It is just a really, really nice addition if you are trying to seriously progress through arena as high as you possibly can. My second tip for you guys is going to be to use your tickets, okay? There's going to be times when you refresh your opponent list and there's not a good matchup for you and you have to sit on your tickets. But if that's the case, then you should be trying to hit that refresh button as much as you possibly can in order to get the number of tickets you have down below the maximum number of tickets that you're allowed so that you're always regenerating tickets in the arena. Also, it seems to me like if you're spending a lot of arena tickets, Dev Sisters has a habit of sending you more arena tickets in the mail. So definitely make sure that you are spending those arena tickets and you have them down below your maximum whenever possible. Quick side tip, if you go to the laboratory, if you have that unlocked, then there are a couple of technologies in the cookie section of the tree that will allow you to increase the maximum number of arena tickets that you have available. So for example, right here, you can increase your arena ticket max number by 2 by doing this research. Highly, highly recommend that you do this. I would recommend doing this over doing the recharge rate. And the main reason for that is that, if you go to sleep, all your tickets are going to be back no matter what. And it's better to have more tickets than to have gotten those tickets faster while you were asleep. That's just generally how I look at it. There is at least one more space where you can get more arena tickets. It's much, much, much further up in the tree. So if you happen to be there, great. If not, then it's going to take you a while to get there. Let's see, where's it at? Right here. It's a Sugar Gnome Laboratory level 7 to increase your tickets by 2 again. So make sure you are using your tickets. My next tip for you is going to be about medals. So in the arena mode, you have trophies, which you earn to progress your rank, and you do not spend them on anything. They just go up and down based on whether or not you win or lose battles. Okay, the second thing that you're going to be earning in the arena is medals. Medals are spent in the medal shop. Usually, you're going to want to spend these medals to buy pure vanilla or Hollyberry soul stones first, and then anything else afterwards, which generally in here, I would recommend soul stones for cookies that you want to progress. I also would recommend the XP jellies sometimes, and then occasionally you may want to pick up some skill powders or a specific tier 3 topping if you're trying to build out your toppings, which would only be raspberry, solid almond, and dark chocolate, or raspberry almond chocolate. Don't buy anything else besides that out of here. But generally, you're going to want to spend it on soul stones. So you may be at the point where you have, 590 medals and you've got 3 hours left and you're like, I just need 10 to get pure vanilla. Do not do risky arena battles to try to get medals, okay? So that's my tip here. Don't do risky arena battles to try to get medals to buy something. Instead, go over to Super Mayhem, okay? It's really hard to progress your rank in Super Mayhem because it takes hundreds of trophies to advance to the next rank instead of just maybe 1 or 200 when you're in arena. So each loss and victory in Super Mayhem does a lot less to impact what rank you are. So come over to Super Mayhem. You probably have a million tickets like me. Jump in. You get anywhere from like 15 to 30 medals per match that you win in Super Mayhem. And if you lose, you don't lose any medals. You lose trophies. And at the end of the day, I think most people don't care as much about their rank in Super Mayhem. So if you're trying to farm for medals, come over to Super Mayhem. Try to find a matchup you could definitely win or one that you might be able to win, and just roll the dice and see if you can win. Hit that refresh button every time you're done over here in the arena window. Pop over to Super Mayhem. Look through, see if you can beat anybody, hit refresh, and then go through, check it again, and then call it a day. So farm your medals in Super Mayhem, not in Kingdom Arena. You are going to earn medals in Kingdom Arena by ranking up, but, if you're specifically after medals, go to Super Mayhem. All right, my next tip for you guys is going to be that you need a tank, okay? As we get into the lower ranks here, talking basically like gold, silver, bronze, chocolate, I see a lot of teams that don't have a defense or charge cookie in the front to absorb damage for their team. This is a mistake. You need one of these cookies unless you're running a super weird meta comp, which if you are, you probably don't need this video. But if you take a look at the rankings on your servers, you're either going to see that that slot is hidden or that it's filled with a defense or a charge cookie almost all the time. There are some exceptions. Again, this is somebody running a meta comp. This is a summoner comp, which they're able to do here. And a lot of that is because Pom Pom jumps up there and tanks for you. But in most cases, you're going to see people, like 99% of people have a tank or they have a charge cookie up at the very front of their team, unless they're running that summoner comp right now. So you need to have one of these unless you're running a weird comp. So don't neglect the fact that you need a good defense or charge cookie up front. The best ones for you to have are going to be Hollyberry, Strawberry Crepe, Cocoa Cookie, and or Dark Choco, depending on which cookies you have and which ones you've already invested in. Dark Choco is not really like arena meta ready, but if you're someone like me who heavily invests into guild battle and so you've got him pretty souped up, he is still a solid option. He's been the tank that I've used to get into Master 3, so he's definitely viable. But if you have a Hollyberry, you should be throwing down Hollyberry on your team. So make sure that you have a tank. My number 5 tip for you is to take advantage of your defense tab strategically and to not forget about it. So if you don't know, when you're in the arena, you have an attack team and a defense team. When you hit battle, you use your attack team against the opponent's defenders team. Okay, and when they do the same to you, it comes up in your defense tab. Okay, so in this tab, it's going to show people that attacked you and whether or not they won or lost. Okay. This tab will record your matches for the past week. So I recommend that you always take care of the bottom of your tab. Make sure that your 6-day and 5-day stuff, you've hopped in and you've done as many battles as you think you could win. Everything else I would hold on to and use your defense battles when you're either close to getting to the next rank or you just broke into the next rank and you want to give yourself a trophy boost to either get there or stay there. Okay, so my general recommendation is every day you go in and you make sure that the 6-day and 5-day stuff, you've checked it and you've fought as many battles as you can, and then save everything else for when you need a boost. Now, the next big thing that I have to tell you about this defense tab is you need to understand that the team that you see here is not the team that you're going to fight when you hit the revenge button, okay? You are seeing the opponent's attacker's team that they use to beat your defender's team. When you click revenge, you're taking your attacker's team and you're fighting their defender's team. This is not always the same. There have been scenarios where I've seen someone who has 400 plus attack power on their team, and when I hit revenge to see if I could beat them, which I obviously can't, okay, they've had a team of 2 cookies that was 140,000 attack power. I crushed them, and I got a bunch of trophies for doing it. Okay, so make sure that even if you're looking at this and it goes, oh man, 486,000, there's no way I can beat that, hit the revenge button anyway. Check out the power level of the team, the composition, because you never know, okay? Some people don't keep their attack and defense teams the same. Some people have defense teams that are super weak so that they can bait people into fighting them so they can come back and win on their defense revenge battles as well. But when they attack you, you get the opportunity to do the reverse to them. So go through every time just to show you an example here. I'm going to see if I can find someone who has a power level that's ridiculous that I should not have been able to win a revenge battle against. Let's see. So this person has 425,000 attack power versus my 278, but I won a revenge battle against them because when I hit revenge, they had a super weak team. So make sure that you are checking these. Here's another one, 435, I won. 531, I beat this team because the teams that you fight when you hit revenge are different. All right, my next tip for you guys is going to be to know your team and know the counters so that you can take that into account when you are looking at your opponent's team. So if we go into my attackers, I have a Pure Vanilla. Pure Vanilla puts up shields and heals, okay? A counter to Pure Vanilla is Twizzly Gummy because her AoE, her skill that she does, destroys shields. So when I'm looking at a team, if I see a Twizzly Gummy, I go, hold up. I need to consider the impact this is going to have because it is a counter to my Pure Vanilla cookie. I also have Sea Fairy who does a stun, and I count on that stun being able to give my team time to get to my Pure Vanilla shields. So if I am looking through and I see a Cocoa Cookie somewhere, I know that she's going to give her team stun immunity, and then I'm not going to have that nice gap to get to my Pure Vanilla shields. So I know if I see a team with Cocoa Cookie and Twizzly Gummy, I'm in trouble, okay? And even if we're close in power level, they have the advantage and may actually defeat me because of those reasons. So know that there are both cookies and treasures that can counter your teams. Another example is I have a different PvP comp here. This is a speed comp. It's designed to do a ton of burst damage right out the gate and defeat the enemy team. I know that if the enemy team has the branch, which puts a shield on their cookies to absorb a bunch of damage towards the start of the match, I know this team is going to get a lot of its damage eaten up, and then there's a good chance that I'm not going to be able to kill off the cookies. The healers are going to bring them all back up to, a decent amount of health, and they're going to wipe my team. So know your team, know the counters, take that into account when you are fighting and choosing your battles. My next tip for you guys is going to be about which cookies you should hide. So if you didn't know, as you progress through the ranks, you gain the ability to hide cookies. You do this by clicking your Defenders tab, clicking Hide Cookies, and then it's going to look like this. It's going to say Set, and you're going to be able to hide a couple of cookies. The number of cookies you hide goes up as your rank goes up. Okay, my recommendation to you is there's 2. So I recommend that you hide the cookies that give the most counter information to your opponent. So for example, if someone wanted to go up against me and catch me by surprise, they would hide their Cocoa Cookie and their Twizzly Cookie because they would know that those cookies are counters to mine, and I would know, I'd be able to see them and go, oh, maybe I should do something different with this team when I saw their team. So by the same token, if I hide my Pure Vanilla and my Sea Fairy, then they now do not know that I have these two. They could guess, but they don't know that I have them. So there's no real reason for them to put in a Coco or a Twizzly if they don't have one already to counter my team. So whichever cookies give your team give your opponent the most information about what they can counter and how, I recommend that you hide those cookies. I also recommend that you hide a cookie on the second row and you hide a cookie on the final row, depending on your team composition. If you have 2 tanks, then hide a tank and hide a back row. So if we go back and we look at this, these different selections, this person right here, Podge Joe, has the recommendation that I have for cookies that you would hide. Okay, I recommend that you hide one of the last 2 and one of the middle 2. Okay, the reason for this is these 2 spots give your opponents the most information when they are fighting you. Okay, not necessarily this one and this one, but one of these and one of these. The reason for this is if you hide one of the back row, then your opponent can't determine whether or not you have a double healer composition based on what cookies are here. Now I know, okay, this is a pumpkin cookie, so they probably have 1 support, 1 healer, okay, but I don't know for sure. It could be another DPS for all I know. For example, right here, this person has it done really well, okay, so their last cookie is a support cookie. This cookie could also be a support cookie. So they could have a double healer team, and having 2 healers makes a big difference when it comes to determining whether or not you can win against an opponent. So hiding one of these, specifically in this case, I think the 4th cookie from the left gives your opponent the least amount of information about your team composition possible. If we look at this one right here, I know they have 1 healer. Like, the end. They don't have another support cookie. They don't have another healer. At least with this one up here, it's kind of vague. Like, it could be a DPS cookie. It's probably a support. It could be a healer. It could be a range cookie. I don't know. Like, there's still some possibilities. But here, I just know, okay, yep, I'm dealing with Pure Vanilla. The end. And then the reason that I recommend hiding one of these is because you either take away information about what type of damage dealing unit you have, or you take away information about whether or not you are running 2 defense or charge cookies at the front. And having 2 tanks also makes a big difference when it comes to deciding whether or not you can win against an opponent. So right here, I know, okay, they have Hollyberry. Okay, so we got a defense cookie. We've got we got DPS. We've got a Hollyberry, and then we've got who knows. I would probably, if our power levels were pretty close, I would probably fight this match because I know that, okay, I got to deal with 1 Hollyberry. She's tough, but she's not going to kill my team. And I'll be able to get through her and take out these DPS cookies. Maybe there's a support in the back, but with 1 support, I'm probably going to be okay. With this set here, this could be another charge cookie. It could be another DPS. It's probably another DPS. But again, I'm not really sure. Okay, so I have to plan for the chance that it's another charge cookie and that they're going to have higher defense than I'm expecting. Okay, so when you have this set up, and let's see, I won't be able to find anyone here, but let's look in the rankings, okay? So let's see, like right here, this person has Coco, nothing. We've got Frost Queen, Cotton, and nothing. So I know that this could be a support, it could be a healer, it could be a ranged. It's most likely another support. It's probably a parfait. But the point is, like, I don't know for sure if they have double healer. I don't know for sure if they have double tank. So those are my recommendations for which cookies you should hide and why. So again, I think it's more valuable to hide the cookies that give the most counter information to your opponent. But if possible, try to make those cookies be in those slots that I talked about. All right, my next tip for you, tip number 8, is to think about your actual power. So this is a tip that I need to make a separate video about, and I will. So I'm going to give you the basics here just to kind of get you going, okay? I break down the cookies in Cookie Run Kingdom into two groups, and I'm going to call them the passive power groups and the aggressive power groups, okay? So the passive power cookies are the cookies that don't have a lot of attack, so their power level is going to be on the low end. This includes your healing cookies, support cookies, defense cookies, and charge cookies. So your cookies like Pure Vanilla, Dark Choco, Cocoa Cookie, or Cotton Cookie are all going to have low power levels, okay? Then your aggressive power cookies are going to have high power levels, and so they're going to contribute more to the power level of your team. That's going to be your bombers, your magic cookies, your ambush cookies, and your range cookies. So cookies like Sea Fairy, Frost Queen, Black Raisin, and Pastry. Okay, these are going to have very high power levels. Let's take a look at a quick example. The power level is going to be behind my camera here, but I'll read it out to you. If we look at Black Raisin, okay, she's level 50. She has 2 stars. She has tier 3 toppings. They're not all level 12, and her power level is 69,000. Okay, if we look at my Dark Choco, he's level 50, 2 stars, has tier 3 toppings. They are all level 12. His power level is 37,000. So these cookies are comparable in every single way, and you would say that generally speaking, Dark Choco should be better off because his toppings are all fully upgraded and Black Raisins are not, but Black Raisin has almost double the power level of Dark Choco. So the reason I bring this up is you need to look at the number of passive power team or passive power cookies you have in your team versus the number that your opponent has. So in my team, I have a support, a healer, and a charge cookie. Those are 3 passive power cookies. Okay, and then I have a bomber and a magic cookie. Those are 2 aggressive power cookies. So if I were to look at a team that I was going to fight, I need to compare that number because in this case, if we look at Snuggle Nuggets here, they have a charge cookie and they have a support cookie. They have 2 passive power cookies. And then they have 3 aggressive power cookies. Okay, so their power level is going to be higher than mine simply because they have more aggressive power cookies in their team than I do. But that does not mean that my team is weaker. Okay, it means that my team is going to look weaker because I have more passive power cookies on my team. Okay, and you can see here that they challenged my team and they lost even though they have over 100,000 more attack power than my team does. Okay, and this is partly down to team composition, but it's also down to the fact that they probably saw my power level and didn't take into account the fact that I had more passive power cookies than they did. So my actual power level against them is higher than 278. On the other side of things, if you find a team that has the exact same number as you, for example, let's see if I can find one here. Okay, so here's one here. This Catboy Harem has a defense, a charge, and a healer. So they have 3 passive power cookies, 2 aggressive power cookies, the exact same as me. So we can just do a direct power versus power comparison, look at the team composition, and decide whether or not we could win. Okay, in this case, I've got 278, they've got 448. Team comp doesn't really matter at that point. They kicked my butt. Okay, here's another one right here. This person, it says 330, right? But they have a defense, a charge, a support, and a healer. So they have 4 passive power cookies and 1 aggressive power cookie. So when comparing them to my team, I need to actually give them a little extra power boost in my head and go, okay, well, they're probably closer to like 350 or 360 power level versus my 278. So they're going to kick my butt. Okay. Now, there is a big factor in team composition, which cookies you have. You know, you could have like all passive power cookies and then you have no damage. So there's still a balance there. That's why you also still have to know like compositions and what each cookie does, but take into account your actual power level. I'll go into this more detail in a different video and also give you a formula you can use to kind of figure out what power level your team is at compared to someone else, so that maybe you can practice that and then get to where you can kind of do that math in your head, the way that I normally am able to. Okay, so my next tip for you guys is going to be about trophies. Okay, when you are looking at your battle tab, okay, and you're looking at your trophies, the goal of playing arena is to increase your trophies and get to the next rank. Okay, you do not get more trophies for fighting people with more power than you. You get more trophies for fighting people with more trophies than you and winning. Okay, so when you are looking at your opponents, you need to consider their number of trophies when you are fighting them, not their power levels. So, for example, this person here has 452,000 power. Okay, just based on that, I can guesstimate that if I go up against this team, I'm going to lose. Okay, they have 1,800 trophies. This person has 242,000 power, less than me. Okay, they have 1,930 trophies. I will get more progression towards the next rank for defeating this opponent than I will for defeating this opponent. Okay, so the closer in number of trophies the opponent has to you, the better on the low side, and the more they have than you, best. Okay, so if the opponent has a lot less trophies than you, you're not going to earn that many trophies for beating them. If they have about the same, you're going to get a pretty good amount. If they have way more than you and you're able to defeat them, then you're going to get a lot of trophies for doing so. So my recommendation is, if you're going through your battle tab and you have like 3 or 4 opponents and they all have, you think you can beat them all, start with the one with the lowest amount of trophies. Okay, so for a simple example, let's say you have 10 trophies and you have an opponent, you have 3 opponents you can beat and they have 1, 2, and 3. Okay, if you beat the opponent with 3 trophies first, that's going to put you at 13. And then when you fight the person that has 1 trophy, there's a 12 trophy difference, which means your reward isn't going to be as good. If you fight that person when you have 10, then you only have a 9 trophy difference and you're going to have a better reward because you're closer in the amount of trophies that you have. So in general, I recommend that if you're fighting people with less trophies than you fight the person with the least amount of trophies first and work your way up. If you're fighting opponents with more trophies than you, then I recommend that you fight the person with the highest and work your way down. That's the way that you maximize your trophy rewards and your trophy income in Kingdom Arena. So I'll go more into trophies and stuff in a separate video as well, but that is my tip for you there. And then my final tip for this video is going to be, don't be afraid of trap teams. Okay, trap teams are what I mentioned before, where sometimes someone like this person here with 1930 medals has a team with just 4 units. That doesn't make any sense. You definitely have 5 cookies. Okay, so the reason that they do this is it lowers their power level. It gets people like me to fight them so that they can then come back on the defense tab and they can get revenge against me and earn trophies. But here's the thing, okay? Unless the person you're fighting has significantly less trophies than you, you're going to earn more trophies from beating this trap team than you're going to lose because they get revenge on you. Okay, on average, I'm losing 1, 3, 1, 2, like 1 to 3 trophies for getting beaten in a revenge match. If I go ahead and fight this battle against this team, even though it's a trap team, I will get like a significant amount of trophies because this person is basically the same rank as me. So don't be afraid to fight against these trap teams, especially if your team is not that good, because you're going to lose defense battles all the time anyway. They got a pretty tough team here, so I may lose this one. I think my Frost Queen is going to die. This is going to be a great example. So if I do lose this one, I will lose a significant amount of trophies. But now that the attack power is up, my team should do a little bit better, especially with that Sea Fairy pop. And I'm just going to get absolutely destroyed. So again, I still say don't be afraid of these trap teams. I lost 8 trophies. That's absolutely fine. It's not the end of the world. And in this case, honestly, I probably should have looked at this and gone, yeah, I'm probably going to lose. Because four units with 242,000 power means they're going to be some really strong units. And they actually did a good job in hiding the units that really mattered as well. So let's see. Do I have another one? I got another one right here. This one I definitely would not fight. But if you see a team like that with significantly lower power than you, significantly, I'm talking like 100,000, don't be afraid to fight them and get the trophies, okay? It's definitely worth it for you to get those trophies for beating the team versus being afraid of losing, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trophies. And even in that case, I did lose 8 trophies, but I had the potential to gain 8 trophies if I won against that team. So it's one of those things where I personally think it's worth rolling the dice when those chances come up, because honestly, in my experience, probably 75% of the time I win those battles, and that's pretty good odds. So that's going to do it for this video. That's 10 tips for improving your results in the arena in Cookie Run Kingdom. Again, like I said, I fully expect to hit Master this season, at least Master 5, hopefully higher. I didn't get started until a lot later in the season last time, and I hit Master 3. So those are my tips for you guys. Like I said, I'm going to break these down into some further videos as we go. Hopefully this has helped you with your experience in Cookie Run Kingdom Arena. And I wish you all of the best, all the success. Go out there, get them trophies, get those medals, get those soul stones, get those rewards. Have a great time. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for supporting the Cookie Run Kingdom content here on the channel. I'll see you on the next video.